Welcome back to the New World Championship. This is the MPO chase card for the final round, Front 9. This is a DGPT Silver event. It's the second event of the 2023 season, even though it's happening in 2022. I'm Andrew Fish, and I have special guest Connor O'Reilly pulling double duty on commentary.
Yeah, excited to be here with you guys, joining for this Run Production coverage of an exciting chase card. Beautiful Florida winter day here, and here you get a look at the leaderboard.
Yeah, Paul Macbeth shot a super hot round in round 2 to pull away a little bit, but everybody else still in contention for podium spots, top 10 spots, who knows?
Yeah, a lot can happen out here, but you're going to have to almost play perfect to beat a player of the caliber of Paul Macbeth.
So back on the chase card for this round, Isaac Robinson. We know he's a very strong backhand player.
Yeah, and Brodie played a solid second round, vaulted him up the leaderboard to be right here on that chase card as well. Gavin
Rathbun. I'm going to urge you guys not to judge Gavin too harshly on any of his play and performance. He suffered a little bit of a hand injury.
Yeah, and unfortunate incident with some animals and got scratched up by his cat. And here we have a look at Andrew Bradley, probably a new player for most of us, so excited to see his game.
Yeah, this is actually his first Pro Tour event ever.
That's awesome, and to make it on the chase card final round is no joke. And here we are on hole 1. It's a par 3 at 416 feet. Out of bounds in this little ditch is kind of one of the troublesome areas. The crepe myrtle line on the right kind of keeps you from being able to swing out a hyzer, so you'll see most players play a flat, a slight fade shot that skips straight, or maybe an overstable flex over if they want to kind of open up the airspace.
And we thank Flight Factory for sponsoring Ace Run Pro's drone coverage.
Welcome to Championship Sunday at the 2022 New World Championship, presented by Dynamic Disc, playing the Latitude 64 Championship layout. Teeing first, from Lawrenceville, Georgia, Isaac Robinson.
Many of you guys have become familiar with Isaac throughout the season, and we know the things he's capable of, especially around the putting greens.
Something unique about Isaac, oh boy, that's going to be a tough start. Out of bounds, just out. He likes to throw a hyzer release for pretty much everything, and he'll use more understable discs than many pros will. For example, we're going to see Brodie throw a lot of overstable discs. His power and his putting are his greatest assets in his game right now.
Yeah, Brodie's definitely a big power guy. If you haven't seen him play much or watch him develop, he definitely has top tier power. And both these guys are just a touch inside, a little early on their releases. We did have a different wind today than we had seen the rest of the days.
Oswego, Illinois, Gavin Rathbun.
Gavin apparently was walking his cat and kind of got another dog run up on it, so his cat kind of climbed up him for safety, and his hand is a little swollen, his thumb's bothering him, and got cut up all over the place.
Yeah, he kind of gutted it out in round 2 on adrenaline alone.
Andrew Bradley.
It's really cool to see on both chase and lead card. We're getting some fresh faces for you guys to be able to see some different lines and some new characters. Looks like we got a southpaw as well, so it should be fun to see how a lefty attacks this track. We haven't quite seen that on coverage yet. I don't know if you guys have.
No, not yet. I talked a little bit with Andrew. Like I said, first DGPT event. He's going to be lefty backhand, righty forehand, and then lefty putt. Those have the same counterclockwise spin, but he's being very deliberate about his game plan. He told me he wasn't really attacking hole 1, hole 6, hole 8. And that's admirable that he's gotten to this point while kind of selling on a couple holes.
Yeah, it shows some real maturity in his mental approach to the game, and very interesting to see him kind of have that Zach Arlinghouse approach.
Yeah.
Backhand, left hand, right hand, forehand. I guess just a certain way that left hand side of the brain works, it just happens.
Or just being forced into doing righty dominant things.
True.
Early in life. You see a couple layups there. Some par attempts, some bogey attempts coming.
Yeah, like you said, he's decided he didn't really want anything to do with that one and just chips it up there. Doesn't leave any room for a long comeback.
Gavin gets quite a few chains, just maybe nubbed out on the left side.
Yeah, and you can see him already kind of messing with that right hand, trying to get some movement and flexion on it, and Brodie just a touch low there, knows it out of the hand. Maybe didn't get his legs into that putt.
Hole 1 kind of playing middle of the pack, but as I experienced at least once this weekend, that bogey can sneak up on you quick if you don't commit to getting it to the right side.
Yeah, pretty much as soon as that tee shot doesn't beat the first half of the hole, you're in trouble. And yeah, if you do that, the par should be pretty simple and even a birdie look.
Mm-hmm.
Tough start for the card. They're looking to turn it around on a simpler second hole. It's a par 4 at 606 feet. Very unique hole design. We come out of this initial gap into this open area where you kind of have the crosswinds affecting the disc a little bit. And then we have this double mandatory made by these 2 palm trees, which is really the main feature of this hole. Push it too close to them and left or right, and it makes it really tricky to get the angle on the approach. You really only need about 300 feet off of this drive and a nice flat landing to give you an opportunity to approach this nice sandy green that tends to stick pretty well.
Priority number 1 is to make the initial gap. Isaac's done that well, just kind of drifts a little bit to the right. He's going to have to throw a pretty severe backhand turnover.
It looks like he made a disc change selection from what he had thrown the first 2 days. I know he's thrown that green mid-range, so interesting to see.
Yeah, perhaps a function of that wind direction changing. Like it had been very swirly and a right to left cross the first couple days.
Yeah, faster disc maybe just to try to play it low and help mitigate some of that crossing wind.
Gavin to the left side a little bit, but
yeah, that may look low to you
angle.
guys, but honestly that's a great position. He's far enough back to really be able to have some comfortable angles.
And Brodie's going to run to the left side as well. Looks like that's a mid-range. Something I'm going to keep an eye on. I played with Brodie in round 2, and he got 0 practice rounds in, basically playing the course blind and trying to school up each round. As Gavin misses the Mando. So he'll have to advance to the drop zone, throwing 4. So Brodie threw forehand on this in round 2. Interesting to see him switch it up to go to the backhand. You know, you kind of get to see his thought process in real time.
Yeah, pretty cool to see. Kind of probably based his initial game plan off of what he had heard from some other players. I know him and Ezra are really close, and I know he said he watched some of the practice round video we put out to kind of try to build a bit of a game plan, but this one's pretty straightforward. I feel like a player of Brodie's golf mental caliber can really kind of dissect a course that it's so visible.
Yeah, every gap, every landing zone, every basket is really straight ahead of you. And it's a lot of dealer's choice for what you're comfortable throwing.
No doubt.
That severe Anheuser just turns into a roller. Maybe Isaac has that jump putt, but most likely going to be a 4.
Yeah, we've seen him make good from deep all weekend, but even that is far enough to not really be a guaranteed medal hit even. Yeah, he hates it. Hear him say terrible.
Says it all. Brodie for birdie.
Isaac, not going to be very happy with his par start, knows that he needs to put down a scorcher to chase down the likes of Paul Macbeth or to vault himself back into that top 3 mix. Oh, a little bit of maybe some jitters for Andrew.
It's possible. This is his first time being filmed. You know, he's playing with a pretty elite set of players. That does factor in a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's hard to develop the same mindset that you would have in a casual round with your buds.
Yeah, I think a lot of players like to find kind of that casual feel, but come final round, you step out into some of these cards and it gets real serious. Players aren't talking as much, really focusing on what they need to do.
Open champion.
Instant Tatar!
I've been dreaming about coming here and competing here, and now I'm finally here, so it's a dream come true.
We are back on the easiest hole of the course, all 3 rounds. This one played as such, I believe, because there's so many options, you can really play your most comfortable line. The forehand out to the left seems like the cleanest line of path of least resistance, if you will. Also some straight backhand options. You keep it nice and low. We've seen Isaac kind of play the skinny hyzer, fading in front of these 2 trees on the right, and there's also a wide skip shot for the right hand backhand with an overstable fairway way off to the right there. So, like you said, any option available and pick your poison. Try to get a circle 1 look. Brodie going zone forehand and showing that clean power that he has, putting it right up there, almost into the bullseye.
Yeah, just overpowering it. I was kind of thinking the zone was not the right play, just because at 300 feet, that's a lot of ways for a zone to go, and the ceiling is low initially.
Yeah, maybe showing some of that touch he developed in his ultimate days, throwing less stable discs, and you know a lot about that stuff. And
yeah.
Just a bit early out of Andrew there. He's going to need to settle down and try to get his focus going.
You see a little hand grab out of Gavin. He's going to land in circle 2, like just kind of a complete misfire.
Yeah, Gavin's looking really uncomfortable out there, and hopefully he can figure something out. Yeah,
worked his way to this chase card, even hurting in round 2. At this point, finishing the tournament would be pretty good.
Yeah, he's just gutting it out right now, and just shows you the heart that the kid has. Isaac with that little step through he likes from kind of deep circle 2, and he really makes putting look way easier than it is, you guys. He's got that beautiful, quick spinning putt, and that thing is just beautiful.
Look at Gavin imitating it in the background.
Gavin's like, how's he get it to fly so clean? We've all wanted the same, Gavin.
I don't know about you, but I try to conceptualize, like, what is the dominant body part in a player's putt? Isaac is definitely a wrist guy.
Yeah.
There's some players who are hip guys, some guys who are elbow guys.
Yeah, a lot of guys got to drive with a bunch of lower body, but Isaac really breaks that elbow, allowing him to get a lot of spin, and as long as his timing on his release is right, he's going to be able to attack from anywhere, as we've seen.
Right. Lower body players can survive all the time, and their misses are pretty small.
Yep.
Isaac or a player like Gannon Burr, who are very wristy, they're going to rely on like touch and feel.
No doubt, yeah. If their timing's dialed, they're going to be dangerous from anywhere, but if not, they might have a little more trouble on the comebacks than other players. And here we are with another par 3. This one's 354 feet and a very aesthetically pleasing hole. We come out of this little pine chute out into the open. Once again, we have a right to left crosswind affecting the discs here. Then we enter the low ceiling canopy of this beautiful oak tree onto this little picture perfect red mulch green elevated on the railroad ties. This one's just a nice, good par 3. Pretty firm power shot for most players. Brodie electing for that forehand. Maybe to battle that crosswind. Very mature play there.
There you go.
He had gone Raptor in round 2. This time looks like slightly more understable Raptor. Drifts it to the left side and now to the back side of the green, well inside the circle.
Here's this green, I believe M1 we've seen Isaac ripping on all weekend. And that thing is beautifully thrown. Has the right height to never really contest with the ceiling, but also doesn't risk being too low and not getting that slide.
This looks ideal.
And yeah, there's a good drive right there out of Andrew. Hopefully he can connect here and get his round rolling.
Mm-hmm. And well thrown by Gavin. We're definitely seeing like the Atlanta area producing some really solid disc golfers. Both the Robinson brothers, Alden Harris, Andrew Bradley doing well for himself here. I think it's interesting to see when like a region just elevates everyone's gameplay. And I don't know if that's courses or competition or what.
I think it definitely is a mix of both. I think good courses help you practice all the shots you need to have success on the demanding Pro Tour style courses, and having other competitors around you to kind of give you those notches on your belt whenever you get the chance to compete with them, or whenever you maybe do something that you've seen them kind of do something similar to, you can add that bit of confidence. And this game, as we know, is all about building yourself up in your own head and can go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Andrew, you know, he's not going to win the tournament, but doggone, he's getting some great experience on this card, being filmed at a Pro Tour event. You know, got to think that bodes well for his opportunities back home and in the future.
Yeah, without doubt. And relatively, as we've seen, the front 5 holes are pretty soft compared to the rest of the holes, so you really want to come out running and grab a bunch before we get into a tougher section of the course. Here we have hole 5, the last par 3 in our first little turkey alley of 3 par 3s in a row. This is going to be the toughest of these last 3 at 380 feet. 2 options here. The first one is kind of just dead straight, very straightforward, and if you beat the palmettos on the left, you want to land flat right around the circle's edge and slide up on a very fast green with these slick pine needles. A lot of players will also flex one out to the right using more of that airspace and try to skip it back late with an overstable disc.
Brodie going to go Raptor. That's pulled too far right, but he's getting away with it.
And he puts a bit too much pace on this. He's pushing to the backside, but he's got about 37 feet and might have some lanes through those trees.
We know he loves his steppers.
Isaac looks like he makes a bit of a correction, doesn't have as much turn as we saw yesterday, and puts this one up there nicely. I don't believe we will see him missing another putt in that range.
Lefty spin's going to be a little tougher here for Andrew. I think his best case scenario involves a straight shot that runs out to the right.
Yeah, I think right side circle's edge would be a great situation in terms of how he executes his shot, and that left side he found is one of the more troublesome areas, so we'll see what he's got.
Yeah, a little iffy. Gavin with a very good shot, breaking back in, kind of follows Brodie over to that right side.
Yeah, might have hit the brakes on that tree and saved him a couple feet there, so see if he can get it going.
First glimpse of that righty forehand. I think the driver play means he's going to go Anheuser and real slow to pan out.
Yeah, he must have to put a good bit of angle on that, and just unable to find a clean flight. Got about 60 feet left.
He'll have to settle for bogey. Brodie from the straddle stance, going to have to work his way around a tree.
Such a bad motion. Just such a bad motion.
And yeah, Brodie's one of those players who's definitely very demanding of himself on the course, and on a day like today, he's trying to move up that leaderboard, so he's going to be bringing the fire and bringing the intensity. Unfortunate misfire from Gavin there, and like we said, these greens are very fast, so once you miss a circle 2 putt, you're very often 25 plus feet.
Yeah, one of the interesting features of Florida courses is how variable the ground can be. If you're on sand, you might not get any skip at all. You know, there's some grabby grass in places out here. There's also the pine needles that give you an extra 5 or 8 feet on everything.
Yeah, even on the soft one. So yeah, definitely got to be very aware. And a course like this is a relatively flat property, but I think they did a good job of bringing subtle slopes into the greens that most greens have a little bit of an effect on like one side that, you know, if you miss, you're gonna leak a little further. So good job by the course designers making do and making the elevation seem more than it actually is.
My name's Garrett Gerthy. People may know me as Double G, and I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
I'm always a snacker, so about halfway through, I always find myself reaching for that bag of Double G jerky.
My favorite has got to be the garlic lover's dream. You just can't go wrong with garlic and beef jerky.
That middle of the round, you get into that slump, I'm gonna reach for that Double G craft jerky to help me finish strong.
So most of you can't throw like Double G, but if you get his craft jerky, you can certainly eat like him. Go out and get some Double G craft jerky.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
A big shout out to Ace Run for making this coverage available to you guys. We're late in the season. We know you're hungry for content, and these guys are making it happen. So make sure you go support them and everyone else who made this tournament a possibility. Here we are on hole 6. It's our first par 5 of the track, 1,100 feet. Big turnover or forehand off the tee is going to be a good option, and then your second shot, you got to choose how aggressive you want to get. Most players will wind up somewhere around 400 feet. Into the basket, you got to cross that out of bounds creek and deal with some OB off to the left and junk to the right. So definitely a good 3-shot to score a birdie, par 5.
First couple days, I think we saw Isaac go with a mid-range. Today, that may have been a fairway driver, but lands in approximately the same spot. Brodie gonna go stable forehand. There really isn't a wrong answer on this hole as long as you make the corner and aren't out of bounds.
Yeah, being as kind of 50-50 of a player as I am forehand, backhand wise, it was hard for me to make a decision here. I chose backhand turnover, but I almost discussed it with my card every time just because I knew the forehand was pretty simple as well. Fun to see how the course lets you pick your spots, like we said.
Yeah. Andrew definitely avoiding the inside. He flips that up, goes a little too straight. We'll see what kind of route through the trees he's got.
Gavin pops this one too straight as well. He's going to need to skip, and he's going to have some of that electrical box stuff in his way. And yeah, trying to decide whether he can move some of that stuff maybe, or...
It does say, if you guys consider it a permanent signpost or fairway marker, that you can obtain relief from it.
Yeah, looks like this area was not defined as something that is movable for the players, so Gavin's going to have to deal with it and really going to impede his ability to get his legs into the shot.
Yeah, this isn't a shot you want to have to throw standstill or obstructed. But he does very well to turn it over to the right side. If this breaks in front of the cluster of trees, that'll leave him at 425, 400 away from the bucket.
Yeah, that's a really good spot right there, and just shows how much power he has to be able to use a tiny run-up. And
trust shot out of Andrew. I think this is a little bit of his inexperience here. Like, he needs to hang that over the out of bounds a little bit more. He does get to the front side of the trees, but with that lefty spin, he had a lot more fairway to work with than the guys throwing righty backhand right now.
No doubt, and as he gets more comfortable, he'll be more and more confident with hanging it out and trusting his disc and his throw. And that's pretty prime time for Brodie. Gets down to past that little bit of a hill there, and he's going to have probably 360 into the pin. Very attackable.
Isaac correcting nicely, but does he go with that M1 again?
Yeah, and in past rounds, we've seen him go mid-range, mid-range, mid-range for the birdie, so looking to kind of do that as well today. He leaves that one short, though, and he's going to have to pull out some kind of driver to try to attack for birdie.
Big carry here, and the out of bounds continues long right for a little ways.
Oh, and he is very fortunate to squeak through the right side there.
That's a terrific filter.
No doubt, yeah. He could easily have ended up out of bounds if the trees grabbed him there, but throws it clean enough to give himself a circle 1 birdie look.
Once again, a little bit inside, not flattening enough. In the woods, probably long circle 2.
Yeah, not going to be very clean from in there, so would be quite a hero putt to hit that one. And Gavin looks like he just squeaks across. Spotter not quite sure, going to let the card make a decision. Let's see how it plays out.
Brodie back to that Raptor from long 300s. And this isn't great. Yeah, he's going to get caught up in the out-of-bounds creek.
Unfortunate, unforced error out of Brodie. That one's going to be tough for him to swallow after a great first 2 shots. Let's see the kind of patience he'll be playing with today. See how he recovers from this mistake. Going with that little get freaky zone. Little chip up. Plays it nicely into that subtle left side slope on the left of the screen. I believe Andrew has been putting with the anodes from MVP, so a nice straight putter. Kind of shows the style he likes to attack with.
Boy, I don't like that kick out.
Isaac low right there, but hangs on and able to take advantage of a little bit of a trickle through the stuff. Well played birdie there. He's got 4 in a row now.
And he was only one of 4 birdies on the day for this hole, is that right?
Yeah, it's impressive. Looks like we had Isaac Robinson, Lance Brown, who I played with, hit a nice jumper. James Becker, and Mark Farrell. Congrats to you guys on a solid birdie and 3 good shots to get you there. Maybe a sweet putt as well.
Yeah, really solid hole. Would fit on just about any course in the world.
Absolutely, yeah, I really enjoy the design of this hole. And here we are on hole 7, one of the toughest par 3s to birdie on the track, if not the toughest. Actually, it definitely is. And 467 feet, this one's a long shot, even if you just have to throw dead straight. But we have this mandatory here on the right, forcing us to the left. Most players you'll see throw a big power forehand or maybe like a turnover backhand to play for something in deep circle 2 range. Big right hand backhand roller is the ideal play, I believe, to get yourself into circle 1 possibly, but also runs the risk of being a little less predictable than those air shots.
Isaac doesn't really mess with rollers or forehands.
Yeah, very straightforward player, and showing why. When you're as accurate as him and you putt as well as he does, all you need to do is give yourself opportunities. You don't need to perfect anything. This is actually a great hole to be a left-hand player on, be able to throw that power hyzer. Just flattens it up a bit. That's a very common miss here, is to push that backside. Mandatory really scares a lot of players.
Brodie calls wrong disc pretty early in the flight. Doesn't matter, he's going to filter out to 85 feet.
Wrong disc, a little too flat, you be the judge, but... We saw Gavin park this hole day 1, and just showing there how uncomfortable he's feeling right now. Really feeling for the kid.
Yeah, he was out most of last fall and winter rehabbing from shoulder surgery. It seems like he just can't catch a break to stay healthy right now.
Yeah, and you could tell late in the season he's been starting to gain that trust in throwing those power shots again, so unfortunate to see him have a little freak accident like this weekend, and we feel for you, Gavin. Not the way you wanted to end your season, but you are an amazing player, and we know you'll be back strong.
Good touch forehand out of Bradley.
You can see Gavin was trying to chip that one in. Brodie with a solid opportunity.
Oh, that's well thrown. Just so far.
Yeah, it's hitting metal from there is even a pretty good attempt, and Isaac puts it up to a really good spot. And he almost catches that step through, just slips through the left and lips out.
Yeah, a little bit of a heartbreak. You can see Gavin take a 4. Everybody else in pretty comfortable position for a 3. This is really more of a 3-4 separator than 2-3 as a par 3.
Yeah, a 2 is an absolute bonus birdie. Almost feels like a little beagle, we'll call it. Half birdie, half eagle.
Yeah, do you want to brag about anybody?
I may or may not have got it with a roller to 60 feet, and the spotter told me no one had birdied it yet today, so I told him, I got you, bro. I'm going to bang this putt for you. Also, Joseph Anderson looks like he got it, probably with that big forehand and a long putt, so good get, Joseph. And here we are on hole 8. Yesterday, as well as today, played as the hardest hole on the course. You got to play out that right side of the gap and get back left of that cart path. Where this drone is flying is all out of bounds. And as we get up to the green, this left side cart path splits off as an out of bounds river, and right of the cart path on the right is also out of bounds. Slightly elevated, little picture perfect green, and yeah, this hole offered 0 birdies yesterday, so let's see if anyone on this chase card can grab it. They're gonna need it to chase down the likes of a Paul Macbeth.
This looks a little too flipped up, depends on the ground reaction, and just dead.
Yeah, there's almost no skips just right of the cart path. It seems like for some reason the grass likes growing right next to the path. I don't know if it's like the condensation that happens on the heat and cool transfer of the concrete over the day and night, but it seems like it's real thick.
Perhaps just a low spot.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Brodie hung this out too far wide in round 2. Does a good correction here. Gets back in.
That might be quite a moist. Stop down there.
Man, those are the words you never want to hear out of a fellow competitor. Gavin, not sure if he's going to be able to continue the round. It sounds like he's been holding that thumb after every shot, and he's been trying his best to gut it out. It's been a pretty tough round for him, though, and at this point in the season, might be smart for him to just start thinking about next season and not overdoing it.
Yeah, there gets to be a point where, you know, it's beyond discomfort. It starts to be possibly dangerous if you're going to, you know, rip your swollen hand open and cause some more damage.
Yeah, no doubt. And then even just the mental stress and having to finish your year like this, or start your year, if you will. It's just not what he wants to do, and he knows he's got a long season ahead of him, and he's a young and very bright player.
Yeah, even though we're professionals, we're still trying to have fun. When disc golf stops being fun, like, why do it?
Yeah, no doubt. And especially if it's something that's kind of out of your control like that, just something, I mean, when the mental's out of your control, you know, that's on you, but the physical stuff kind of feels very unfortunate.
Yep. This is a big shot for Isaac. It's his 4th on the hole, and he's still in contention for potentially podium spot. So he's going to have to make a pretty big putt in order to save bogey and stay on pace here.
Yeah, we saw him make a similar putt round 1, maybe a little shorter than that, so let's see if he can recreate that magic.
Once again, a hand check.
Yeah, like we said, those first 5 holes, you really want to come out running, but then you hit this 6, 7, 8 stretch, and playing even 1 down or par sometimes can be solid for your round, and it's interesting the way this course kind of makes you flip-flop your aggression levels based off of the hole design and kind of the flow. Brodie with that scuba, we've seen him make famous, and shows why he likes it. He can kind of bid the basket and also just land flat and dead right next to it.
Never a chance. Just too low. It really is a privilege to end up on top of this little hexagon. Because if you do, then, you know, you're basically a bullseye. And if you're lower than that, well, it's slightly elevated. You're at 20 feet now, and it becomes a tester for your par or worse.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just far enough if you're off of that where you really have to think about it for a second, and this can be a kind of an exposed green, so the wind can maybe play more of a factor than on some other holes. Unfortunate double for Isaac out of there. He played it a little too flat out of the hand off the tee, and he's going to need to turn it back around and have a hot back 9 to vault himself up the leaderboard the way he wants to.
It was important for me to partner with a retailer that could help with growing my brand and making my products available all over the country and across the world. Flight Factory has helped me accomplish that. Check out all of my gear and thousands of other discs at Flight Factory.
A huge shout out to DGN providing this drone coverage for you guys and for providing the live disc golf that we all love all season. It's only been getting better, and I'm excited to see how it continues to progress into next season. Here we are. We have another par 5 here, 1,000 feet. Hole 9 is all about playing a big distance line off the tee and then shooting a shot right into this gap for the second one. Most players, if they execute, will have a little less than 300 feet into the pin, kind of pick your poison, turn over backhand, flat to finish forehand. And we definitely had a flipped up wind here. We were playing into a headwind, whereas the other days we had a full sins tailwind, so definitely changed up the dynamic of this hole a bit.
Bradley certainly playing away from the out of bounds cart path on the right. That's going to leave him a very long way away from the bucket. Brodie's been going big turnover shot. He was actually able to cut the corner in round 2 by flirting with this set of trees. He's done it again. That should give him the opportunity to play a sneaky route to the right side that goes over another cart path and back in bounds. Could make his birdie impossibly easy from there.
Yeah, I was kind of confused as to where even that right side was all weekend. I never really even took the time to find it, but I got the pleasure of playing with my friend Andrew here yesterday, and he kind of showed it to me. So Brodie will definitely be able to access it from there, and we know the kind of big power he has. Isaac playing a comfortable little gentle flex line and puts that thing out there nicely, probably around the 500-foot mark.
His game is just so efficient. He doesn't throw impressive shots. He just throws efficient shots.
For sure, and watching his brother Ezra a little more emotionally up and down, very similar physical games. Like to see Ezra, as he continues to mature in age, kind of follow suit of his brother Isaac. And here we have a left-handed drive out of Gavin. I saw him warming up with it, and it looks really clean. He's got a solid lefty, and at this point, not sure whether he's planning on kind of finishing the round out like that, or what his idea or what his thought process is right now, but just showing how much he loves disc golf.
I think this is probably an FX2. You see the little pop-up and then stability on the end. Well done for Isaac to get all the distance he needs without risking the tree line on the left.
Yeah, fortunate not to catch a bigger skip there and wind up in that tree line. He'll have a clean swing.
Looks like I misjudged where Brodie had gotten to.
Oh, wow.
He's
Brodie
playing...
had to flex it out of bounds and doesn't quite beat that final pine tree. He's going to have to play it very close to where he just started from.
And now he is going to play that right side big hyzer.
Does he catch another tree here? It sounds like we heard something, and he doesn't look very happy. Might have hit that palm tree and dropped. He's going to have definitely still some work to do on his upshot. And Gavin going big backhand, left-hand roller. Cutting out OB, and yeah, you got to feel for the guy.
Andrew back to the backhand and gonna squirrel out to the left side again. That'll leave him 120 away for his 4th.
Trying to play that flex, but he misses to the safer side. Isaac with a nice down tempo straight putter shot. We've seen him throw these so well all season, and gonna be rewarded with a 16-footer there.
Gavin rides the wind nicely, parks the hole. Now Brodie with a zone from the right side for his 5th.
Yeah, I rarely see players play from the right side, and Brodie has had a pretty sloppy hole. Put that one outside the circle. Still has work to do. He's been comfortable with that stepper all season, though, so let's see if he can catch here on this distraction-laden green.
Yeah, right by a highway. It's elevated. It's definitely one of the windier spots. Oh, that's filthy. So I talked to Brodie after this round a little bit, asked him about what his off-season plans were. During the season, he moved from Virginia back to Texas, where he's been previously. And he said the biggest things he was going to work on were his Circle 2 putts, which frightens me because he's already very proficient at that, as well as working on straight shots. After playing with him, it seems like he really wants to throw overstable shots either on hyzer or for a flex line. Be very interested to see what he could do with more of a dedicated like flip-up game.
Yeah, as he's gotten more comfortable with disc golf lines, I've noticed he's very comfortable throwing a high power shot. But yeah, if he can learn that flat shot and start to be able to touch up those spin rates a little bit, it'll definitely add a dimension to his game. And here we see our box score through the 9. Been a tough round for Gavin. He's been gutting it out. Hopefully things can turn around for him. And here's a look at that leaderboard.
Yeah, look at Isaac. Little bit of separation there from the rest of the card, and currently in a tie for second place. The lead card doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot. So good on him, and we hope you'll join us on the back 9 of this final round coverage. Thank you again to Ace Run Pro for giving us the opportunity, and thank you so much to New World Disc Golf for hosting the Pro Tour. Excited to be in Jacksonville. Connor, take us out.
It's been a beautiful Jacksonville winter day. When the sun's out, you get that light sweat. When it's not, it feels nice and cool. The wind shifted from the north today, and it's been a pleasure watching these different styles of players and different ways to spin the disc. Thanks you guys once again for joining. Make sure to go like and subscribe to Ace Run Pro and support all your favorite media producers for the Disc Golf Network and for the Pro Tour.